It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Nation TV. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Nation TV. And we're coming to you live from CB Gitty. It's the Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
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 It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV.
This isn't on, that's why.
Hey, we're here now. Welcome to another episode of the Gitty Gang Show. Back in the Gitty Juke Shack studio after, well, me going on location last week to the York, Pennsylvania Cigar Box Guitar Festival. Down there with Shane Spiel. We did a show from Shane's Woodshed. Had a good time out there. So Glenn and I were sitting here while the intro was running. We got the show up on our screen here, watching all of the names, everybody, our good friends piling in out there. Who did we see there, Glenn? What?
Nick Lanciano.
Hey, Nick is in the audience.
What?
I saw Farley Ziva Volinova out there, too.
Got Michael Mayer. Good to see you, my man.
Michael
Brad
Mayer.
Barbula, Clay Clark, Rick Gainey down in Florida, by the way. It's great to see you, Rick. Rick recently submitted some stuff to the website. Looking great stuff, by the way. Martin Tauber I saw out there. Roll Tide with Jim Burt, Rusty Taylor. It's always good to see you, sir. Representing Georgia.
Ma Gitty out there on her way up to Cleveland Engine Plant #1 of the Ford Motor Company. Just happen to have Grandpa's Ford hat on today, so thank you all for joining us. It's good to be back. Tell you what, there's been a lot of good stuff going on here at Gitty. I went down to Pennsylvania and had a great time at the festival. We'll be talking a little more about that. Got some photos, a short special clip of one of the performances there. In addition to that, you know, I went down and spent some time with Shane. Shane, right now, I think he is on the road, on his way to Fox Chapel Publishing to pick up the copies of his book, Making Poor Man's Guitars, arrived today, and as soon as he got the word, he was on the road, boy. He's been itching to get those, and Shane and I were going through that book because he got one advanced copy for marketing purposes. Going through it, it's really a remarkable piece of literature, piece of history, the photos, the how-to. There is no one who could write that book as Shane Spiel has written it. Nobody has been at this as long or as actively as he has, and it is all distilled in that book, and I'm so excited for us to start carrying them here at CB Gitty. But what we sell through CB Gitty is just going to be that one small part of the overall worldwide distribution that this book is going to have, and we're really hoping it helps introduce a lot of new people to this movement. So we're going to be doing a tablature lesson here today. We're going to be having Walk Corner, of course. I haven't got the new jingle ready.
We're working on it.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to roll that out at some point in the future. Walk Corner. Nick and I are going to be doing a special presentation of a song. Yeah, going to have Kim Starling stepping in after the tab lesson to help us perform the song that we're showing you in the tab lesson.
All right.
And much more. Great show, folks. All new content every week. But first, I want to announce the winner of the giveaway. This was actually from 2 weeks ago, because last week I was in Pennsylvania, completely forgot about it. So the winner of the Canjo. This is one of our Generation 1 oil can Canjos. It's got the good old John D. Rockefeller standard oil can on there, reclaimed oak neck, All sorts of goodness going on. And the winner of this, out of all of the people who shared the show 2 weeks ago, randomly selected Mr. Damon Park.
Hey!
Mr. Damon Park has won this lovely Canjo. So if you're out there, Damon, I don't think I've seen. Is he?
Yeah.
Well, hey.
Well, at least I think I saw him.
I thought, hey, if he ain't, he'll find out about it. So yeah.
Gitty, you look like you're in a real pickle there.
Well, you know, I didn't want to say nothing, but this is one. Glenn's holding one too. One of the new illustrated guitar designs. Like that. If you're a pickle fan, I know we've got one pickle fan at least here at CB Gitty. Ms. Laurel Caldwell over there in the packing department suggested that we dip the box in dill pickle juice just to up the enjoyment, and I said no.
Well, in a way, it's like Dan and Laurel are on stage with you guys right now, because you know you have the jar of pickles.
Well, that's true. You know, speaking, Laurel's a pickle freak, and this one, the rainbow trout. Go ahead and take it up close there while I yammer on.
Get it right in their faces.
This is the rainbow trout as painted by Dan Caldwell, the official first. I don't want to say employee so much, but the first helper of CB Gitty way back in the basement days. It was me and Dan before Glenn came on board. I think you were number 2.
Nope, I was number 3 or 4. Kim.
Really?
Yeah.
Kim was first, and then Glenn Watts. See, I lose track. I'm sure she'll help me remember here after she sees this. Anyhow, yeah, some great new illustrated guitar designs. We got a couple more back here. Yes. The Camp Life design that was on a recent limited edition box lid
I love that artwork.
Is now a guitar, and that is vintage cigar box artwork right there from the early 1900s, late 1800s. They used to put a lot more effort into the artwork on the boxes. Usually the inside panel of the lid would have this beautiful lithograph artwork, and that's one of them.
Some of them still do, like Fuente still takes
That's
time
true.
to do
Fuente
that.
still cares about the art.
A lot of that now. 724 did that for a while, but now they just have their logo.
And these, you know, we were doing them as bolt-on necks for a while. There's a video out there of Farley showing how to bolt them on. When we switched to these nice bigger new boxes, we took it to a neck through. So the neck is now, the heel's glued on, and that heel extends through and then attaches to the back. So these can easily take low G bluesy strings.
Okay,
oh, I ain't kidding.
No, I ain't saying you're lying. I've been wanting one of those with lower tuning for a while.
Oh yeah, it'll do it now.
We'll take a moment to say hello to Jim Morris.
Jim,
who's out there underneath back porch banjos.
Back porch
So welcome
banjos.
to Facebook, sir. Good to see ya.
Well, when we get to my tales of daring do down in Pennsylvania, Jim Morris, his name will re-arise in triumph and glory. But before that, we did actually we're to that right now. We are now officially to the photo montage / memory portion of the show. So what Nick's going to have are some... What you got?
No, this is great. I love the transition. It's working really well. Did we by chance talk about the Friday thing yet? Or are we just saving that possibly for
See,
later?
that's why we keep Glenn Watt around, amongst the reasons, helping me keep on track. You might not know this, folks, but every week we've got a list here. We call it a script. It's really just a list of all the stuff that's supposed to be covered. And as Glenn and Nick can tell you, frequently I miss...
There's a lot going on.
I miss a lot of it. Usually batting 600 to 700 on the old percentage-wise. But anyway,
Today.
more stuff going...
$5 Fridays.
I was like, that's very generous.
Got $5 Fridays. cbgitty.com/$5 Friday.
All spelled out. F-I-V-E $Friday.
All one word, no spaces. And this Friday, we have in store for you a selection of premium products for just $5, which include things such as...
Well, I'll tell you, usually, that was a nice segue, by the way, which I screwed up, but usually we only do 5 items for $5 each because it's a holiday weekend, Labor Day holiday, in honor of laborers everywhere. We're doing 10 $5 items, and a couple of them pretty significant discount off the original price. So what are the 10 items?
We have for you today.
Yes. No, this was Wacky Wednesday.
Oh,
the $5 T-shirt of the Cigar Box Gothic. Now you can still get them for just a little bit more, $7.99, which is still $5 off of the original $12.99 price.
But we do also have a vaudeville poster featuring Master Junior Gitty and Junior Master Gitty. Bright lights, I can't read anymore. I'm sorry, we've got nylon guitar straps, handcrafted copper pipe slides. Nylon guitar straps, handcrafted Piper Cop. Gosh, slides.
You're doing great.
I want you to know we've not been drinking seriously this time. This is.
No,
and fret wire. If for whatever, for those who are into fretting, we also have fret wire. Lots of
narrow low, 6 foot lots of narrow low fret wire, which are great for hobo fiddles, ukuleles, shorter scale stuff, dulcimers. Available. What are you giggling about over there, Nick?
No, Henry Lohman with the truck guitar, a guitar high in omega 3s.
Yeah,
there you go.
Eat one every day, and something will happen.
Got the Canjo Songbook Volume 1, the digital download version.
Download. That is right.
$5.
$5. Usually more than that.
Usually. Not this weekend.
$7.99, I think.
That one's actually free shipping too.
No, Clay.
Yeah, because it's digital download.
Drink won't help because every time we drink on the show, we end up going for 2 hours.
Yeah. We got some knobs, all sort. Yeah, the slides, the copper slides, those are made here. Glenn Watt, you are familiar.
I've seen a couple
with the making of those slides. Jeff, our good boy Jeff Rich out there, has taken them over. But anyway, $5 Friday, and just a little teaser hint here. To stay tuned on cbgitty.com, because tomorrow, the official launch of the Labor Day weekend, Saturday morning, there'll be some things to watch out for happening on cbgitty.com. So, good stuff.
All right.
And it's not just the red straps available for $5. We got black, blue, and red. All available while supplies last. All right. That's $5 Friday, folks.
And then we had
every week.
Yes.
And Wacky Wednesday. I had an idea for another Wacky Wednesday this coming week.
Oh.
It's going to be crazy.
Pretty wacky.
Well, yeah. Wacky. Anyway.
Now, Jennifer, before you move on to the Pennsylvania Cigar Box Guitar Festival, the 9th annual that just happened last week, we had Jennifer Warren White, who did comment that she had bought or has bought the digital download version of the Canjo Songbook Volume 1. Says it's great. Thank you very much, Jennifer. And Jennifer actually also contributed to this.
I was going to say, I've been seeing her name pop up a lot in the order list.
Yeah, and she uploaded a video to the CB Gitty Crafter Supply Facebook page of her playing a Canjo, which was awesome. So thank you very much, Jennifer. It was awesome to see you out there. And it's awesome to see you out there right now, too.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
All right, so photo montage from this past weekend's Pennsylvania Cigar Box Guitar Festival. These are some pictures that I took. Every year, every time I go to something like this, I say to myself and others, I'm going to take more photos this year. I'm going to get photos of me with people. I'm really going to, and never really happens. So this is a small group of photos. Because I get in the moment, oh, here's the first one. You get in the moment and you forget about all that.
Yep.
So this is Friday night. And there's more of a story here than you might, if you look close, you might see in the background some stuff going on. So Shane Spiel is on stage with his band, The Snakes. You got Farmer John on the soul bucket there and Derek Kemper over there. But if you look through that window, you'll see a young lady standing there, and her name is Corinne. She's the girlfriend of the saxophone player, who's not pictured, that was playing with Shane that night. So she's out there hula hooping the whole time. Just going to town hula hooping. And then behind that, a guy gets pulled over in a fancy new Mustang by a York police officer and proceeds to get bundled into the back, over the course of about an hour, bundled into the back of the police car, hauled away. Flatbed shows up to haul the Mustang away. All the while, Shane Spiel and the Snakes are just blowing the doors off the place on stage. Corinne's out there hula hooping. I'm at the bar drinking beer. It was a pretty good time. Kind of surreal there for a little while, ain't gonna lie. And then the next photo. Now this, I was splitting my time between Shane's gig and the jam session down at the York Emporium, kind of the kickoff of the festival. both events were going on at the same time about 2 blocks away. So I was splitting my time. Here we have Jim Morris and friends up on stage. You got Johnny Stompbox back there in the corner, Mr. John Bernick, who did an awesome job of emceeing that event, keeping things on track, doing the sound. It was really well produced, and Jim Morris and his friends there did a great setup there. They've got that old-timey mountain sound. Had one of his friends there on the upright bass. You can't really see, well, a little bit behind her there. And then another lady there on the guitar, and he was on his cigar box fiddle. Really good stuff. So always a pleasure to see Jim and friends perform and hear them perform. Now here's a cast of strange characters. You got myself there, Shane Spiel of course, and in the middle, in between us there, none other than Big Al Hamilton, who runs, what is it, Factory Seconds? Ah boy, I should have thought that through before I started saying it, but he's got his outfit. They do kits and different things for cigar boxes, and Al is actually an auctioneer as well. You can see I'm holding a stack of cigar boxes there. Swisher Sweets, couple of White Owls. Those are going to be turned into hobo fiddles, and I got them before Shane got to them because he likes those red Swisher Sweets boxes as well. So I rushed over there and got them before he did, but from Al's booth, Shane got over there and found this old red Stella guitar. He posted a photo of it. It's a rare Stella guitar painted red that is just awesome. So we both did okay there with Big Al. Big Al's Emporium there at the York Festival. What we got next? Gotta wake Nick up over there. Come on, Nick.
Oh, sorry, I was reading the comments.
All right, well, here's the main stage. You got Shane over there. He's introducing the Barron brothers. There on the right, I think it'd be your right, is Casey Barron, who has been attending that York Festival since he was just knee-high to a...
Dwarf?
Yeah, knee-high to something. But since he was young, let's say, and now he's on main stage with his brother there, just tearing it up, playing cigar box guitars, making some great music. Really good to see him up there. And of course, Shane was the MC of the event, did a great job. And who we got next? Well, all right, now we're getting into a little bit later in the day. This is Rob Gibson, R.L. Gibson, or R.J. Gibson. I think R.J. He is a photographer, but he works in the old classic tintype photography methods, using the original development methods. And he travels around. He's got his developer studio in the sidecar, you can see it there in this photo, of a Harley Davidson. He's got a 1950s Harley Davidson with a sidecar. He's got his booth, I guess you'd call it, in the back. And he does these classic tintype photos using a camera that was made in, I think, 1867 or something like that, he said. So here he is in the process of developing one. The next photo, I think, shows another duo of performers who have been performing at the fest. That is young Gus and Huck that make up the Alley Cats. They've been attending the fest since they were quite young. I think that first year I saw them, the younger of the two was probably 6 or 7. And now, a few years later, you know, they're getting a bit older, but they sat down and posed for this photographer. So here they are posing in front of the old camera, and here's what that picture looked like coming out of the developer bath. It's like...
So cool.
It's like you go back 120 years in just a few seconds. It's really amazing to see, and I can't wait. It's going to be several weeks before I actually get the original tintypes, because he shellacks them and does some other stuff to them, but really excited about how those came out. And then there's this guy. This guy here, it was a thing. You know, he's holding his hobo fiddle, dated around 1890, I think. Not sure what his name is, but he's doing all right there. He's got his whiskey flask in his pocket, ready to go. Play some music and hit the rail. So, overall, an awesome time there at the York, Pennsylvania Cigar Box Guitar Festival. This is just a tiny sampling, because like I say, throughout a big chunk of the day, I forgot all about taking pictures and was just in the moment. You know, I was enjoying it, having a good time talking to people. And really for me, that is the best part of festivals like that. Reconnecting with people, spending time talking with people, and some of them are out there right now. Jim Morrison, Henry Lohman. Got to spend some time with Tim Trimble of Rooster Run Workshop Cigar Box Guitars. Joe Chipman, who I hadn't met before, but he built that beautiful curly maple semi-hollow body guitar for Shane. Amazing guitar builder. I got to meet Joe Baker. He bought me a pint of beer there on Friday night. I always appreciate that. You know, John Bernick and Louis LaManna was there. Got to meet him in person for the first time, along with his wife Deb. So many others whose names I'm sure I'm forgetting. Being able to see everybody there and say hello, shake hands, tell a story. It's good stuff. You've been to that festival. I've been doing a lot of talking here.
It's a good time, and I feel your pain with not being able to document an event.
But you're a lot better at social interaction than I am. You might not know it, folks, but I tend towards introversion, and it's difficult for me to sometimes to get out there and just make the effort or get over the hump of being able to walk up, say hello, introduce yourself. You're better at it than I am.
I don't know about some.
Oh, yeah, we're not all that good at it.
I was gonna say
he's better at overcoming the hump and making the effort, even if it's difficult sometimes.
All that said, true or not, the what is difficult is enjoying and being part of an experience and accurately documenting it to be shared with everybody. So it'd almost be easier to have a dedicated videographer or whatever, so that when you get back to home base and you're like, this is what we did, because otherwise, you know, sticking my phone, which I wasn't there, but sticking my phone in somebody's face every 30 seconds in order to document an occasion, like you do kind of lose the joy of connection at a festival. So it's easier, and so that's why I'm saying, like, I feel your pain. Like, it's nice to be able to go someplace and be able to shake a hand and not have to do this which is fine. I'm not saying that this is such a bad thing, but you know, just to be able to be someplace and be able to enjoy the company, be able to play the music or dance the music. I do neither of those things, but I mean, eat the food. I eat the food. Yeah. But to be able to be a part of the experience is always a good thing. Yeah. So good stuff.
Festivals are great. We got another festival coming up in several weeks, the Georgia International Cigar Box Guitar Festival, organized by Mr. Rusty Taylor, big fan of the show.
September 22nd.
September 22nd in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia.
Hot Atlanta.
I've only ever driven through it, around it even, on the bypass. Anyway, so we've got a short video here. This is Louis LaManna and his wife Deb. I don't know if Louis out there right now. They played during the jam session. They did 3 or 4 songs Friday night. Now his wife Deb is playing a cigar box mandolin. It's her first time, I believe, as I heard it, her first time on stage. She really wasn't all that sure about getting up there and playing along with Louis. But afterwards, coming off stage, she's like, you know, that wasn't so bad. Maybe I can do this. And that proves the point that we say often of sometimes you just got to get up there and do it. It ain't going to be perfect, but you know what? You can do it. You get up there, you have fun, and make it happen. So just a short clip. This is pulled from the live video I tried to do that night. So it's a little wonky. The sound synchronization might be a little off, but I was having a good time listening to them. So here you go.
Well, a match made in heaven. Struck the band, it's time to play. We make a lot of mistakes, but she gives you second takes. The videos are home. You must be good when you're gone. Priorities in place. She calls you on the phone. Oh, to her house you raised. Don't wanna be all alone. The less to do, you just can't hide. Don't keep the bottle up inside. Don't wanna see her die. But no one gets a free ride. You got to earn your way, baby.
I hope you enjoyed that half as much as I did being there live for it. I saw Steve Whittle's name come by on the comments. Steve, I got a great picture of Steve holding this rustic one-string diddly bow he built with this amazing old box. Sorry we didn't get that into the photo montage. Try to get it in there, well, we'll try to get it in somewhere soon. Alright, so, enough ado about all of that. Right now what we've got is a hands-on tablature lesson for you featuring the new free tablature song that was just uploaded 2 days ago, no, yesterday, to cigarboxguitar.com. Trying to do a free tab Thursday every week, a new piece of free tablature that you can download and print out. So, go over to cigarboxguitar.com, not guitars, but cigarboxguitar.com, and get this printed out. It's the classic Americana anthem, Take Me Home, Country Roads, written by Mr. John Denver, not Bob Denver, not Gilligan, this is John Denver, and two of his friends, Bill and Taffy, whose names I can't remember, but they had written it, he came in, helped finish it off, and of course performed it. There it is on screen, or it was. So that's the tablature, we got the chord forms on there and everything, and what Glenn and I are going to do right now is try to walk you through a little bit of how to use this tablature. We've been through this before, but we got a lot of newer people viewing that I figured we could go through it again. Now, Nick, the numbering of those graphics kind of determined what order they display in. That's the chord forms, which comes a bit later. And if we start with, there we go.
Huzzah!
I'm just going to grab an axe here. So you can see down below, this is the first line that you'll find on that printable PDF of the tablature of the full song. And I've got some colored arrows on there for you to look at to help identify some of the key components of what tablature is. So, the red arrow there points to that top of 3 lines. And what those 3 lines represent are the 3 strings on a 3-string cigar box guitar. Now, which strings they represent can be a little confusing at first. So Glenn, tell us about the 3 strings and the 3 lines.
The 3 strings?
Yeah.
And the 3 lines.
And the 3 lines.
All right, I think what confuses most people is that when you look at tablature, you presume, naturally, that the string on the top matches the string on the top in the playing position of your guitar. That is not the case. And we did not make this up, this is just how it goes.
It's the music notation tradition of hundreds of years has gone this way, so.
Right. So of the 3 strings in parallel, or the 3 lines in parallel, the one on the top represents the one that is lowest on your guitar, because the one on the top in the tablature is the highest pitch or higher pitch, which represents the higher pitch string, which happens to be the higher string on the, which happens to be the lower string on the guitar. Too many words, but you get the idea that the higher line is the higher pitch note. The higher pitch notes happen to be just kind of on the in the bottom playing position. So the bottom line there in the tablature represents the low G. The middle line is that middle D string, and then that top line is that high G string. Mm-hmm. Now, that corresponds with conventional guitar music, like sheet music notation, and how conventional guitar tends to be taught, where they refer to the highest pitch string, which happens to be E, on a 6-stringer as the first string, even though it's on the bottom when you're playing it. So it's just something to get used to, and once you're used to it, it doesn't take that long, really. It makes everything a lot easier further down the road, should you decide to move on to learning to read music notation or whatever. Arrows, what else we got here?
So that's the red arrow, the lines that represent the string from regular musical notation. Tablature shows on the neck, on the fretboard, which string and what fret number in order to play a tune. And we'll get, which is very powerful because it's so easy, but to get that easiness, that ease, you lose a couple of things that we'll talk about. So, the blue arrow there, pointing at the number 2. The number 2 over that middle line. What that is telling you is that you should take a finger, often your first finger, and push down the middle string at the 2nd fret. Now, not right not right on the 2nd fret, but kind of in between, just below the 2nd fret, in between the 1st and 2nd. It's called the 2nd, on the neck, it's called the 2nd fret, even though it's not the little metal bump. So, what this first line is showing you is for that 3rd note for the start of the word heaven, you're going to hold down that middle string on the 2nd fret. The zeros mean to play that 2nd string without touching it at all, unfretted or open. And you start to hear, when you put those first 4 notes together on the middle string, open, open, 2, open, you start to hear a musical phrase emerging that might start to sound a little familiar. So as you go on down that line there, you see that it jumps up at the end of the word Virginia. It jumps up to that top line, which is the high G string, or the bottom one in playing position, open. So that's what the numbers mean. They're telling you what fret and on what string to push down. The green arrow, the light green arrow there pointing to the EM, those are, at least on the tablature that we provide, those are the chord forms. Not all tab that you find out there will include chord forms, but by including them, what we'll get to in a little bit, it allows you to strum along with the song. Instead of picking the individual notes, you strum chords, which is handy for, honestly, when I'm playing songs, mostly I'm strumming chords. Rarely do I pick the melody. Now, with the Gitty Gang theme song, for example, which we'll play at the end, it's a combination.
Yeah.
Like Glenn usually will be...
Yeah.
So he's picking individual notes and kind of strumming along with. I will sometimes pick individual notes, but then when I'm singing, switch to strumming. So, anyway, green arrow points to chord form names. And we've got some chord forms to show you for this particular song in a little bit. Not yet, Nick. Not yet. So I'm diving for the mouse. Nope. All right. The 4th arrow there, kind of yellowish golden color, points to the 3 letters on the left side of the lines. Those tell you what tuning this tablature is intended for. Of course, this is open G, G, D, G tuning, and it tells you that the low string, the lowest pitch string is G, the middle string is D, and the high string is another G. Now, there could be other letters there, because there are other tunings, especially when you get into 4-string tab. But even with 3-string, it could be G, B, E, or something else. So, on the tablature we provide, there will always be those 3 letters there, telling you what to expect and whether your cigar box guitar is tuned properly for this tab. Because if you've got one tuned, say GBE or something like that, it won't sound quite like you expect it to sound. So the next image here, number 2 in the series, is that same line of tab without the arrows.
Oh, next one?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so we're starting on the middle string, open, almost, up to the 2nd fret, back open, then 2nd fret, West Virginia, then up to the bottom string as you're playing, but the top line there in the tablature, open, Virginia, 2nd fret, Blue Ridge, and then 4th fret, mountains. And we go to image 3 for the 2nd line of the verse. Shenandoah River. So you can see following along there. I wish we had a bouncing red ball to show you what I was doing. But if you can follow along there, I'm just putting my finger on the string in the position indicated by the lines of tablature there. Now this is showing just the basic melody. Sometimes we post tablature that's a little more involved and shows you playing more than one string at a time and where to put your fingers on each string to kind of add in a little bit of harmony. But that's the basics there. I don't want to go through every line, but you get the idea, hopefully, if you didn't already know, how tablature is constructed, what all the stuff means, and how to make use of it. Now the final piece here is that chord diagram that Nick had up at the beginning, which shows the 4 chords used in this song. So we got G, E, M, which of course means E minor, D, and C. Now these chord diagrams, you can see 3 vertical lines, some horizontal lines, and some numbers and circles and such. This is like if you're looking at the neck of the guitar vertically, with the low G string being on the left side of the diagram and the high G string on the right side. So it's like you're looking at the guitar fretboard head on. So that G there shows you push down the 4th fret of the low G string. Now you can also do a G chord just completely open. I like to hold down that 4th fret to get all 3 tones, but we don't need to get into that. And then the second one, E minor, shows the 4th fret of the low G and the 2nd fret of the middle D. That D chord shows you using 2 fingers on the 2nd fret of the top and bottom strings. And then the C chord there requires a little bit of a stretch, but it's the 5th fret of the low G string and the 2nd fret of the middle D. And those 4 chord forms, if you can only learn 4, well actually if you can only learn 3, drop the E minor and just learn G, D, and C. And you'll be able to play literally hundreds of popular songs with learning nothing else. Now, Glenn Watt has shown a number of times another method. Tell them about how to hit G, C, and D with just using 1 finger.
Sure, and yes, so playing all 3 strings open, so G, D, G. That's G, right? Using 1 finger across the all 3 strings at the 5th fret. That's C, and then all 3 strings across the 7th fret is D. So that, yeah, you were gonna say something.
But
Go
you
for
probably
it.
were too.
Go for it.
Pro tip, added bonus.
Pro tip.
You move it on up to the 9th fret, still 1 finger across all 3, and you got something that can pass for E minor. So with 1 finger, you can play all 4 of those chords. So in the order they're shown on screen there, G is open, E minor, 9th fret, D, 7th fret, C, 5th fret, and then back to the open. So we're going to actually play through this song, Country Roads, all the way through. And to help us get through it, we've got coming on stage here our own Kim Starling.
Oh, sure.
Adjunct, ad hoc, occasional, Gitty Gang.
Can't stay long. Guess what's happening?
$5 Friday.
Everybody's buying
Everybody's
stuff.
buying things. Gotta keep shipping stuff out.
We
so
have what's called bigums.
bigums.
And I have to ship them personally today.
This
so if
would
you buy
be
right now, I'll
this
ship
would
your
be
stuff.
a bigum.
That's a bigum.
If this sold, because this is on sale right now. The homemade music guitar print there.
Kits,
Yeah.
necks.
All that good stuff.
That's all me
It's all
today.
big. It's all
So-
her. All right, we gotta get busy here. So we're gonna switch to a different camera so we can get Glenn Watt on the upright bass
Glenn Watt.
in the shot here. Hopefully, I didn't really test this idea before. Looks like it's zoomed in a little bit there. Pull it out to the wide zoom. There's Glenn Watt.
Woo! GT, woo!
Hey, it's GT
Glenn.
Dubs.
It's
What?
just the Glenn show today.
What? Oh,
That was awesome.
Uh-oh.
That was awesome.
All right. Well, this isn't what I was going to play. Let me grab
Nope. Behind you.
the
What time is
time
it?
clock. Time to punch out, baby.
That's
On the
punch
time
out.
clock guitar.
I'm out of here.
With a freshly added strap that
Moments
you can
ago.
get for just $5 on cbgitty.com right now.
Oh, you like gold. Oh, see?
Well, nobody can see the knobs.
Oh, good.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country road, take me home to the blue, blue water. Carbon dusty painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eye. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country road, I hear her voice in the morning now. She calls me. Radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country road, one more time. Country road,
Oh, country road.
well, take me home
Come take me home
to the place
to the place
I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country road, say take me home.
Oh, take me home.
Country road.
You know what would be fun?
What would be fun, Guitar?
If after you do something live like that, you
Yeah.
then play the rehearsal. And they'll be like, they didn't do
They didn't do it
the same
anything like
rhythm.
this. No, all different.
Those two don't know what they're doing.
Well, no, I've often said that as soon as that camera goes on, like everything rehearsed just goes, and it's on. I'm now on autopilot, and I'm gonna do it the way
It was a
that's
little,
not the way I
more
learned it.
honky tonk earlier, but
Shout
that
out
was good
to
too.
shout out to our good friend Patricia
Bye,
O'Brien.
y'all.
That's not the way I learned it. So thank you, Kim, for
Okay.
jumping in. She's gonna get back to the shipping now. I realized, Glenn, halfway through, not even halfway, about halfway through the first verse, I'm like, to really drive home that tab lesson we just did, me playing it on a 3-string might have been a little more thematically appropriate. Who's keeping track?
Keeping track.
And if I had thought ahead of time, I would have had the camera framed right, and then it had all the tabs going on the
Oh,
bottom.
all these things we think of after the fact. You know what would have made a great show? Let me tell you.
Hey, you know what? Tune in next week.
Tune
Same
in
show,
next week,
We'll get
folks.
everything right.
All new show. We're
Why don't we
gonna
just do the same show for 3 weeks in a row? We'll get everything nailed
and
down.
might get it close to right on it.
It's all in good fun.
So, we've already covered some of this stuff, but I just want to talk briefly about the happenings, the big doings. Oh, we need a big doings ditty. Big doings. Anyway, big doings at cbgitty.com. This week, since getting back from Pennsylvania and energized, ready to roll, there's been a lot of stuff happening. In coordination with Shane's book momentarily being released, he might have them in his hands right now. We've been creating some new products to go along, or bundles and packs and things to go along with what Shane shows in the book. So there's some new Shane Spiel signature products, string packs. We got a preamp bundle. We've got the what we're calling the Peep Show set from the Pictures of Lily guitar he did. And there's a lot more coming to correspond with the chapters in the book to make it as easy as possible for new people who have never heard about any of this cigar box guitar stuff before, who end up with this book. We want them to get into this whole idea of making your own music, making your own instruments, reaching new people, and growing this movement. Because really, in my opinion, this could be the modern day equivalent of the folk revivals that have happened in the past. When people kind of rediscovered that music belongs to the people. It doesn't belong to the lawyers and the bankers and the corporate suits. Music belongs to the people, and we can make our own instruments and make our own music and remember and recapture that. I've been reading a book, the Railroad in American Folk Music, which of course near and dear to my heart, but there was a quote I wrote down from that book last night, which I will paraphrase right now. You say in the 1870s, people sang and played for their own entertainment. And in the 1970s, when this book was written, much fewer. We've become passive consumers of music and entertainment. We're no longer the makers of the music, the makers of the entertainment. And going back to that, unplugging, don't just listen to somebody else do it. Try to do it yourself. Build a guitar, make music on it, reclaim our common musical heritage. That, I think, is the kernel. And with that kernel, all of us together, not just me and Glenn and Nick and Shane, all of us together can and are changing the world, making it a better place, one cigar box guitar at a time.
Music is the universal language.
It is. I didn't intend to start preaching, but it kind of happened there. I got into it. What the hell was I saying before all that? Oh, so as part of helping spread that idea, making it as easy as possible for people to build their own guitars, working with Shane closely on his book, we've come up with some new, showed him off earlier, the new guitar designs for the people who just want to play and don't care so much about building. We've got new tools, a new fret leveling file, and I meant to grab one and show it off. Well, I didn't. But you know, if you've ever installed frets, Glenn knows this, sometimes one will be a little higher than the others. You'll get a little buzz as you try to get that action low. Having a nice leveling file, you run it over all of them, it takes off any high points, and then you use a crowning file, like the one we sell, to put that round top back on, makes it all smooth and even. And we've got one of those available now, made right here at CB Gitty. One of our line of fretting file tools that we make here. It's an awesome thing. It's a great thing. What'd I miss?
Not much.
Black Mamba.
Black Mamba. Black Mamba.
Black Mamba, named by our own Nick Lanciano. It's a great name, isn't it? It's the snake oil. It's in the snake oil line of mini humbuckers. We now have the glossy black plated version. We've had chrome and gold for a long time. They're extremely popular. Now we've got black, and Nick named it the Black Mamba.
Black Mamba.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
When I showed that to Shane, he was like, "I must have them. Send them now."
Oh, this guy.
Guy. Got Laurel Caldwell here, everybody. Somebody's watching the show. Look what she brought me. This is one of the leveling files.
And that's a brainchild of
Jeff Rich.
Jeff Rich, our good man Jeff Rich.
So what he does is he takes a big mill file, a flat mill file, and actually takes some of the tooth off on our belt grinder to tame it down, because you don't want to grind your frets down to nothing with 2 or 3 passes. So this is for nice, gentle leveling and filing of your fret tops. It is epoxied onto one of our red oak milled handles that we use for the bevel files and the angle files and the fret rock. We're using this for a lot of stuff. I have some photos somewhere, I think I showed them to you, of me in the basement of my house with my little router table I got from my grandpa and this angled jig I made, making the first ones of these with that beveled notch in it for the bevel files. And that was in my little workshop, which was smaller than this room we're in now. And no ventilation, no dust collector. And by the time I had run a few of these through, you could hardly see across the room. The sawdust was so thick in there. Oh boy. Good times. Anyway, this is a handy tool. Very handy tool, and I'm proud to bring it to market. Made right here in the Gitty workshops. So if you haven't been there lately, get on over to cbgitty.com and check out the new products section there at the bottom of the home page. There's a lot of good stuff going on, and more to come. A new kit released just this week.
Hey-o!
As designed by none other than Mr. Nick Lanciano back there. This is the paint can lid resonator kit, fretted neck, 25-inch scale. Got the bridge on there, and that paint can lid really gives it a nice metallic sort of. I've been playing around with this one, and I think that bridge is. This kit, it features a box that you build yourself, and this is part of what I call our blank slate line. You can decorate this, you can stain it, varnish it, you can paint the can lid. It is undecorated, it's bare. You can go, even the neck, you can go to town, wood burn it, stain it, paint it, ink it, whatever. Decoupage it, for God's sake. There's a lot that can, virtually limitless, endless decorative possibilities. Actually, one of these same style of boxes Farley had decorated. It helps to never like clean up in here because you just got all the stuff you could possibly need. This is a box that Farley had illustrated a while back. This is of course our pure and simple neck on top style. But it's an example of what you can do with one of these boxes. GT Dubs there on the back. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
I gotta show them now.
Oh, you don't want that.
Get a load of this guy right here.
Oh,
yeah,
it's Glenn.
buddy.
Oh, isn't he cute?
All right, so
If Glenn
yeah.
could turn red, he'd
Yeah.
be red.
So good job, Nick, on putting this kit together and writing the how-to guide. Now available for what? I think like $69 or something, with the fully fretted neck and the box kit, special box kit, all that good stuff.
And
So
a well-written instruction manual for easy assembly put together by Nick himself. So good stuff.
yes.
Input from the team, I should say.
So and that backs up the Chicago electric cigar box guitar kit that hit the market the week before that our own GT Dubs here designed and wrote the guide for. So there's a lot of good team effort development going on around here, and there's a couple of more cool kits in the hopper. And then we just came up with an idea today. I'm not even gonna say it yet, but it was one of those like, why aren't we already doing this? They're gonna love it. So good stuff happening. All right. Where's the slide? You got a slide?
Not on me.
Well,
Not on.
that's okay because I can't really play slide.
This one here.
Ah.
What do we got next?
Well, I'll tell you what we got next.
Nobody knows you? Nope. No.
Oh, we got a video selection for you next. That was just a teaser. It's not time for Walk Corner, but soon.
Oh, you teased him with the walk.
Oh, just the first 3 notes. I can name that
Water's
song
just
in
gotta
3
build.
notes. Boy, this show's running a little long this
All
week.
right.
Doing a lot of talking. All right. So here's a brief musical number that I did a while back that is still one of my favorites. Nobody knows you when you're down and out.
Once I lived the life of a millionaire. Spent all my money, didn't have any cares. Took all my friends out for my
thank you to everyone with the kind comments out there about that song. That is one of my favorites, and I'm not too proud to say I learned it from Mr. Eric Clapton's Unplugged album, which is still one of my favorite albums. Don't tell Shane. But Walk Corner is coming right up. But I just wanted to say, I forgot to say earlier, down there at the Pennsylvania Fest, they were good enough to let me get up on stage and do a few train songs. And I was honored and proud to be joined on stage by Shane Spiel and Jim Morris. And Chuck Alston jumped up there for one too. Jim was playing the bass and Shane was doing slide and I was playing the hobo fiddle. To be able to play a few songs on stage at the Pennsylvania Fest with people like that up there with me, friends that I've looked up to for years, it was really, really deeply special to me. And to have friends out there in the crowd looking up at me, giving me thumbs up. Now granted, some of them were saying turn the volume up, that's alright. Smiling back, nodding, clapping. Henry Lohman and Louis LaManna and Tim Trimble out there and John Bernick and everyone, it meant a lot to me. And I come away from that just feeling great about it. Not out of pride of I did so good, and you know, but just of what an experience it was, and to be able to be a part of it was really special. So thank you to everyone who was there and everyone who watched live, because the whole thing was broadcast live on YouTube. And now, hope this is still in tune.
What? Hey! Huzzah! Gotta go! Aw! Welcome back, y'all, to Walk Corner. This is where you submit stuff to us, we share it with the world, and then there's me kind of sharing some of it with you. Now, for all of you who put up with, we've been talking a lot, man. We're already at an hour. We're at an hour, Ben Gitty Baker. Nick, you got to cut us off soon.
On to the show next week, folks. Last call.
All right, so I'm going to get this ball rolling. Now, first up, I know, GS, it's likely you're not out there right now, but I want to honor you and the things that you do for the handmade musical instrument community at large, which is contribute amazing stuff and be a really nice guy about it at that. So it's GS Monroe. He is GS Monroe Folk Musical Instruments. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly the business name, but GS Monroe builds handmade musical instruments that just rock your socks off, and this is one of them. As you can see here, it's an electric backpacker Gitty. Now he used a CB Gitty amp board, which drives 4 1-inch speakers, which you can see covered in felt on that half Gitty body that he has. And by the way, I don't know if I said this, it's a hollow body. Now it's nicely contained and powered all by a 9-volt battery. So, in the next image, what you'll see here, closer up of this guitar, and I'm sorry that I'm going to tell you what those little text things read. Now, for instance, you can see, no I'm not, because I can't read them from here myself. But anyways, so what you can see there is there's a battery compartment, there's a toggle switch, volume and tone, there's an exterior jack that runs to an exterior amplifier, but also you don't have to run it to an exterior amp. That thing is an amplifier in itself, which is just rad. And so I believe a customer had sent GS that neck, and GS built the body and the electronics around it. It's just amazing stuff. And about this image, GS had written, I added a hollow body half wing to the instrument and wired in a 9-volt CB Gitty 2.5 watt amp board and 8 ohm 1 watt quad speaker system. In the next image that Nick has for you, you'll see closer up that GS added a true bypass toggle that allows the client, the purchaser, the buyer of this instrument to, in the next image, jack into a standard external amplifier. You can see this, the 1/4 inch jack there. Now that is completely independent of the internal amp. In the next image that Nick has, per client request, GS changed the string configuration. It's a 4-string, but he changed it to pair up or to do a double course on the high string, so you get this like that dulcimer style melody unison string on the high. So this one he tuned AEA, which is irrelevant, but what my point is that you got this like dulcimer style stringing on this amazing 4-speaker self-contained amplifier, half hollow body thing, work of art that GS has put together. Now I'm kind of throwing a wrench into things here a little bit, but Nick was kind enough to try to work with me. There's, after me shutting up here for about 30 seconds, you're going to hear GS playing this guitar that he built, powered in itself by the 9-volt battery, not plugged into an external amplifier. You'll see. And so up next we have a little video from... But I'll do this for a second. There we go. I figured I'd keep you entertained with a little jig.
I'm messing it all up
jig
all
in the corner.
place.
Now, I just want to say thank you to GS. Even if you're not out there, if somebody else is out there that's, you know, Facebook friends with GS, be like, hey, GS, I saw you on the Gitty Gang show or whatnot. I'm grateful that you contributed or shared that with us, GS, and I'm just stoked that I got to share it with everybody else. So thank you for paying attention to that. Now, next up, we have from actually a couple pictures from the festival. Look at this guy.
Whoa,
look at this guy. Now, our friend Jimmy Circle from Pennsylvania, Jimmy C, sorry, I apologize, from Pennsylvania, was at the York 9th Annual Pennsylvania Cigar Box Guitar Festival this past weekend with all y'all that were there. And you can see Boxcar Ben Gitty Baker up there on stage. And I actually really enjoy the captions that Jimmy shared with each photo. And for this one, Jimmy shared one of Ben's mantras, and that is build what you play what you love. And in their Boxcar Ben Gitty Baker on stage, he's holding his own Coke crate guitar that he built, and you might have seen that played several times by Ben, by Nick, seen the construction process 6 or 7 months ago when it was done. Great photo, great stuff, Jimmy. I'm glad you shared that. And the next image that Nick has, we got Shane. And
That's not Shane.
Well, you know.
That's half of Shane.
That's half of Shane. And Shane, you look great.
He does.
He does look great.
He does, yeah.
So,
I'm sorry.
No. That's the king. And standing next to a very large image of somebody else that we know. But nonetheless, that's Shane being Shane. In the next image, you see Boxcar Ben Gitty Baker on stage with none other than Back Porch Banjos, Jim Morris, longtime stalwart and true Cigar Box Nation member Jim Morris up there on the upright bass. Good stuff. But great performance by these guys. Wish I was there live to have seen it. And in the last image, you will see, we've just shared this to Facebook, I think it was yesterday, with Jim and Ben sharing a moment. And I think this is, for me, it captures a moment in time that's important about all festivals. I know that not all of us live within driving distance of festivals, but to touch upon what Ben was talking about earlier is this ability to get together live, and even if it's just for a few moments, to shake the hand of somebody you've met online that you share this passion with, and just share a moment that you don't share with other people. You're building your own instruments, playing your own music, and you can see the joy and just that personal connection that Ben and Jim are having there. And it's really, I'm grateful that Jimmy took those photos, but that also shared them with us so that I could share them here. So thank you very much, Nick. Thank you very much, Jimmy Circle, everybody for doing all of this. Now, next up, we have, of course, I got to have like a little family heartstring tugger from me because I can't help myself. This is from Rick C. It's build number 11. He calls it the Uncle Cucumber. Now he goes on. Rick goes on to write about it, the Nova Scotia tractor plate guitar, about which Rick writes, when we were little, my brother couldn't pronounce our Uncle Malcolm's name, so he called him Cucumber. Uncle Cucumber at that. But Uncle Malcolm, Uncle Cucumber, passed away in May. This guitar is made with one of Malcolm's license plates for Malcolm's surviving wife, who is also now learning how to play this very same guitar that Rick C. has built in commemoration of his Uncle Cucumber. So I think that was just really rad that I got to share a little bit. Because we get, again, it's like the festival thing. It's just these connections that we have through these things that we build, these connections that we develop with human beings. It's just a beautiful thing. And I'm just happy to share that piece of history, familial history, with here. Anyways, next up, we have Gerard from Gerard S. I had to throw in some eye candy on this one. I mean, it was from Gerard S. He writes that he's been building cigar box guitars and canjos for a couple of years, but he also likes going to car shows, so he decided to start making car-related guitars. As you can see here, he used a chrome air cleaner. In the next image that Nick has for you, you can you can't see it in the image itself, but you can see how cool it is. The bridge, tuners, frets, and pickup are from us, CB Gitty Tractor Supply. And what I can see on that, and Jim, if you're still out there, you may be able to help me here. It looks like Gerard has even put on a little back angle on that red oak neck that he put on there, which I love. It's something I haven't done yet. I'm usually just a straight stick, you know, the flat 180 degrees right across, but looks like Rick might have put himself a little back angle on that neck, which is pretty nice stuff, and that chrome air cleaner looks beautiful. Now last up, we have from Mike W. Now Mike's been sharing some stuff to us to our website for a while now. He built some incredible guitars. I don't know if you're going to be out there, Mike, but this isn't like Mike's, you know, builds these amazing guitars, but recently he shared some one-string cigar box guitars with us that I found really inspiring, because yes, they're just one string, if you will, but they're diatonic fretting. And about this, Mike writes, got a couple of the strings, frets, and tuning pegs all come from CB Gitty Tractor Supply. Thank you. Yeah, buddy. And they have simple 1-inch wide neck-through designs made from poplar wood. One string, all you need is like a little inch, a 1-inch neck there. And he writes about this. Mike says that he cuts off the top section of the neck and then glues on a piece underneath the headstock. So he notches out the headstock and then takes that and glues it to the underside of the headstock. What that does is it pulls the tuning peg down at least 1/4 of an inch. And what that does is gives you a break angle from the nut to the tuning peg. It just makes good sense. You don't have to do it, but in lieu or in place of a string retainer, that lowered tuning peg helps to create a break angle on the guitar. And what else we got about that? So he's got it diatonically fretted. And I'm going to get to this later. You can actually just scroll through them, man. I got nothing else on that, specifically on the images. But you can see kind of like how he notched out the headstock there, and he's got that piece glued underneath the headstock. It lowers the tuning peg. And that's your leisure, Nick. Don't even worry about me. You can just keep going. Yeah, seriously.
I'm looking at the 724 box, really wanting a cigar, because that's a really good cigar.
Nice. And you can actually see through that little sound hole right there. He's even got his own stamp, his own business stamp through the sound hole, which I kind of dig that stuff. You know, when you put those little personal touches on there. And last, you know, as Nick scrolls through these images, I just want to give, really what impressed me and what made me want to share Mike's images here was the message that he shared with these one-string, diatonically fretted cigar box one-string guitars, was that Mike writes, building these one-string cigar box guitars really would be a good place for new builders to begin with. They are simple, and yet they help you learn the basics that go into building 3- or 4-string cigar box guitars. Plus, they're just fun to build and play. Now, that's the point, is that they are a little bit easier to build because they're just one string. The tension's not there on the neck, so you can have a longer scale or a thinner neck or use a softer wood. And having them being diatonically fretted, what that means is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, as opposed to chromatically fretted like these guitars. So you don't get all the notes with the diatonic fretting. You get you get that dulcimer style fretting, so you get that do, re, mi scale, and you can play like a canjo. Can play nearly anything, and it just sounds good, and it's a simple place to start. And for being a 3-string builder primarily, this guy right here in the black t-shirt and the silly hat, I like playing diatonically fretted instruments because they just have that, I don't know, that, for me, like that folky Appalachian mountain sound. And I'm really glad that Mike took the time to, you know, although he makes these hot rod guitars, he's like, you know what, I've been making some one-string guitars, and I want to share them here, and this is why. And I think that is an important message to share with all of y'all. If you haven't even built, if you're onto your old advanced 10-string Darsa Horps or whatever y'all build, like, you can still go back to these one-string diatonically fretted instruments and rediscover that joy that you might have first had when you first started building. And that's it for Watt Corner. I'm done rambling. For crying out loud, we're at 3 hours or an hour and 11 minutes.
But we're not done yet,
Not
folks. Not yet, because actually, Glenn Watt's going to jet off stage here, and Mr. Nick Lanciano is going to come on hove into view.
Oh.
Well, we're about to do a seafaring song, so I thought hoving into view was the right. There's some hoving if ever I've seen some.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, Nick.
Is this what you do on stage?
Usually. That's about it. The verbal equivalent of random motions. Yes. So I was blessed to go to a session last night at a very special place called the Greenhouse in nearby Dover, New Hampshire. And a friend of mine there, Mr. Connor Makem, did an old Stan Rogers song that I've loved for a long time. Nick loves it, knows it, probably, I think, better than I do.
Yeah.
But we're going to try it here. Stan Rogers is Barrett's Privateers.
Oh, the year was 1778. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. A letter of marque came from the king to the scummiest vessel I'd ever seen. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
Oh, old Sid Barrett, cried the town, how I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. For 20 brave men, all fishermen, who would make for him the Antelope's crew. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. The Antelope sloop was a sickening sight. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. She had a list to the port and her sails in rags, and the cooks and the scuppers with the staggers and jags. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. On the King's birthday we put to sea. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. When a bloody great Yankee hove in sight, with our cracked 4-pounders we made to fight. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Now the Yankee lay low down with gold. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. She was broad and fat and loose in the stays, but the catcher took the Antelope to old days. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Then at length we stood 2 cables away. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. Our cracked 4-pounders made an awful din, but with one fat ball the Yanks stove us in. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. The Antelope pitched and shook on her side. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. Barrett was smashed like a bowl of eggs, and the main truck carried up both me legs. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Together on the last one. So here I lay in my 23rd year. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. It's been 6 years since we sailed away, and I just made Halifax yesterday. God damn them all. I was told we'd cruise the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. Woo! Sorry, I combined a couple of verses there.
Yeah, and I
about
missed
halfway
one. I
through.
think we missed the King's birthday, but who cares about
well,
the
I
King?
started on King's birthday and went right
Oh,
to
yeah.
But you know, that's a great thing about songs
It's
like
a long
this with
song.
lots of verses. You can skip a couple and nobody notices. So
Oh, I do that all the
thank
time with Northwest Passage.
Oh, I know. Somebody suggested the Mary Ellen Carter would be a good one,
I don't
too.
know that one.
You don't know? Well, then...
Is that Stan Rogers,
well,
too?
let's not do it, then. No.
Okay.
It is Stan Rogers. All right, well, thanks Nick.
guys.
And I think that's our show. If we get Glenn Watt back in the hot seat here.
That was awesome.
He's over in the nether regions of the Gitty Juke Shack stage. All right.
I'll play something.
Yeah. I ain't got much. What I got. So, just a reminder, Shane Spiel's book will be shipping. You can get your autographed copy at poormansguitar.com. Get him in quick because he's picking the books up right now. $5 Friday going on right now at cbgitty.com. Go to cbgitty.com/$5 Friday. All spelled out, no spaces.
$5 Friday.
Something big. We're going to have a big thing going on CB Gitty over the weekend. So check in tomorrow. See what's happening. It's going to be good stuff. And of course, coming up in 3 weeks, the Georgia International Cigar Box Guitar Festival on September 22nd in beautiful, scenic, and hot Atlanta, Georgia. Coming right up, so thanks for joining us. I don't know what the hell I'm going to play. Oh, I left it over there. There we go. Well, it's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. And came to you live from CB Gitty. Well, all you need is a sticker box and some strings. They say all you need is a sticker box and some strings. Well, you put them all together, you know she's gonna ring. I got excited.
No, it's not what I meant to do.
Come on now. Here we go. It's the Gitty Gang Show. Gitty Gang Show. Say the Gitty Gang Show. Gitty Gang Show. It's the Gitty Gang Show. Gitty Gang Show. Say the Gitty Gang Show. Gitty Gang Show. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. All right, we'll see you again next week, everyone. Thanks for watching.